Peter, so here we are right out in your office, right outside Grand Central. Tell us your thoughts about what's happening in Midtown.
Midtown is definitely sort of the crown jewel of New York City and has been for years. But it is feeling the pressure of, the city's rejuvenation has made so many parts of the city exciting and vibrant. Young millennials are choosing to live in Brooklyn, south of 34th Street, on the west side. And the west side development in the Hudson Yards area, World Trade Center, is really attracting a lot of midtown tenants, and for good reason. There's going to be, for the first time in a while, lots of great space available in Midtown. But I don't see any reason why that space, in the hands of landlords that are smart, are well-pocketed, funded to make the decisions and do the things necessary to be competitive, that they won't be very competitive. They will be very competitive.
If we could take a step back for a second, on a macro level, where do you think we are in the real estate cycle?
In the long-term real estate cycle, I think we're early in. We're dealing with this urbanization, young people wanting to live in cities, work in cities, have a great work-life balance. When I was a young man, people wanted to live in the suburbs, right? And that was sort of a movement for 20 or 30 years in America. I think we're early in on this 20-year plus movement to be in the cities. Now, along the way, we'll have issues like we're having now with supply and demand, and there might be a little step back and then 2 steps forward. But over the next 20 years, I think it'll be really, really positive. And I think people who buy real estate in 2016 and 17 will look back and say, wow, that was a smart move.
Now let's get to the 850,000 square foot elephant in the room, Blackrock. What could you tell us about that deal?
Blackrock obviously has publicly announced that they've signed an LOI to anchor a ground-up development related at the 50 Hudson Yards site. It's a beautiful building, a fantastic site. And if two parties can complete a lease and get a building financed and built, I think it'll be a great solution for Blackrock. But I think I've been doing this for 30 years, so I'd be careful to celebrate or do anything about a transaction that isn't fully completed yet. But I would comment to say that Blackrock was attracted to the west side. Its ability to be a pivotal spot for the retention and recruitment of top talent in the city, and that's a key part of what's driving them. And then the idea to consolidate into a modern, efficient new office tower.
What are some of the tenant reservations about moving to Hudson Yards?
For most of the tenants, if you look at their population, employee population, there's an advantage to being there, right? If you're from New Jersey and commute into Penn Station, it's closer than coming to Midtown. If you live on the west side, right, that gives you a lot of advantages. Even if for employees are in Brooklyn or south of 34th Street, there's good, easy access to it. I think the trepidations are for people who come into Grand Central or on the Upper East Side. It is definitely adding a new leg to their commute. And they have to evaluate that and what impact it might have on those employees. The second thing is there's still a lot of construction to occur there, particularly at the Hudson Yards West Side rail yard site, which will be mostly residential, some commercial, but there's some trepidation again about, am I going to be in a construction site for some period of time?
Peter, could you take a layman like myself through what it's like to actually do a 1 million square foot deal?
There's no I's in doing a 1 million square foot project. It's all we's, right? I mean, JLL will have a half a dozen very senior, competent professionals, working on the project. Our clients will have a half a dozen key professionals from their team working on it. You have lawyers, architects. It really is a village coming together to make things happen.
Peter, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.